All right, Scream Fest LA continues with our 7th entry here, Dolly. We're currently sitting on 17 screeners, I think, in addition to the 6 that we already did. And so when I was like looking through them, I was like, which one? And this is the one I landed on. I was like, I don't know, the picture looked really cool.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go with this one. And I'm glad I did. So this is called Dolly, and this is a throwback slasher. It is about a man and a woman who have a kid together, and they're going to go out on a little day adventure hike. And the boyfriend is going to propose, and it's going to be this, idyllic summer day for memories for years. And oh boy,
lots of memories.
They're going to remember this one.
Lots of memories.
So yeah, they encounter Dolly.
Yes.
Dolly, the psychopathic, doll-obsessed killer. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was pretty fucking awesome. This is definitely... I've been saying this, and I think, whether you like Terrifier or not, the one thing that it has been able to do is it's kind of like maybe Friday the 13th or Halloween, whichever way you want to look at it. It's inspired a lot more slashers and studios and producers and whatever to take more of a risk and produce these slasher films. I feel like we're seeing a big uptick in better produced slashers lately.
Yeah.
I feel like the slasher had kind of went away in the outside of uber low budget, right? Like you still get them in the really low budget range, of course, but this is not high budget. This isn't like a Hollywood film, but it definitely had a budget.
Yeah.
You have Sean William Scott in here, as well as Ethan Suplee, who were big actors in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a really cool, unique, it feels very reminiscent of old school slashers, so I don't want to say it's super unique, but what does make it unique is that our main villain here is a woman and a force to be reckoned with.
Yes. Yeah, I really loved this. I thought,
and
this
in a
was
very
awesome.
Believable way. It's, this is a wrestler woman that I looked up and I was like, holy shit.
I loved this because of partly that, but also because I think that the look of the film and everything is amazing.
Yeah, this had to have been shot on film.
It looks like it's shot on film. It's got such a great vibe to it because of that. Performances are great from everybody, but especially from Dolly. I love the physicality.
Max
think that
the
it's...
Impaler
oh
is
my
the
gosh.
name of the person who plays him.
I don't know if this person has done any other acting or anything before. I mean, I guess wrestling is kind of a type of acting.
Yeah, it's performative art, yeah.
But clearly, the physicality and the performance there, because this is, this killer is, silent for the most part. So it is, which is very hard. We've talked about before, with killers like Jason and Michael, who have no voice, and it's they do have very specific physicalities, but they're kind of Michael has a walk that he does, and Jason doesn't really have a walk, but they don't have a whole lot else. Whereas with this killer, there's a lot of personality coming through with the body language and everything, and I just adored that. I thought that was really awesome, and I feel like there was a real character and personality there, in comparison to somebody like Michael Myers.
And this mask.
And the mask is amazing.
Yeah.
The mask is a really, really cool one. It's probably my favorite mask that we've seen recently in modern slashers. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
It's really creepy. And it's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I also like that our main protagonist really suffer severe injuries.
Yeah.
Fucking severe. which, you know, a lot of the times with your like main characters, they have like a lot of plot armor and they don't really suffer that many like gruesome injuries, but holy fuck is that not the case here. The effects work in this is excellent.
Excellent, yeah.
There is some really gnarly shit in this movie. One character, you can just feel their pain.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's just like no one wants to live through something like that. There's some really cool effects work. There's a scene with someone jumping, which they did some like artistic visual style with that, and it was like, oh, this is super cool. This is very reminiscent of like 70s cinema.
Yeah.
If this wasn't shot on film, then this is the best digital filter that looks like film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because this looked like it was filmed in the maybe early 80s. Which just, you know, it adds that charm. Also, the house, Dolly's house,
man,
is so cool.
The exterior shot of it is awesome, and the inside is very cool. Very atmospheric. I mean, I would honestly go as far to say that this might be like my favorite like modern slasher aside from something like an X and a Pearl. I feel like it's up there with those in terms of like the quality. I was really into this.
You know, I could see people not liking certain character choices because they would think like, why would they do that? The only thing I can just like respond to with or push back with is, you know, all our favorite slashers. I mean, how many times does Laurie Strode, you know, throw the weapon down next to Michael and run off? Like it is a classic horror trope that you kind of are like, I don't know, we don't tolerate it as much as we once did, but
yeah,
this is trying to be like a slasher homage. And I think it nails it in that way. Yeah, there's definitely moments where I'm like, come on, why would you do that? Like, that's stupid. But it never irritated me, right? I never felt frustrated like I have in other movies where the characters just feel stupid. And I think that's probably because our main lead actress here, who I know from Starry Eyes, no, not Alex Esso, the girl that she's like in competition with in that movie. She's really good in this, and she is such a fighter.
Yeah.
She never backs down from shit, but she's also smart. She's not bullish. She knows when to submit and she knows when to fight, and I think that endears you to her character more than other characters who do stupid shit. They either fight too much, and you're like, chill for a minute. This isn't the moment.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, they cut themselves and they're just like sit back and, you know, like maybe Barbara from the original Night of the Living Dead, who's just useless, who's just like a fucking mannequin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that this is an iconic slasher villain. I think that this is something that could, you know, really resonate with the indie crowd.
Absolutely.
Do I think it's gonna like have some kind of a success like Terrifier? No, but I do think with the underground crowd who loves slashers,
be very successful.
I think you'll definitely like this. The look of the killer is somewhat unique. It does remind me of like, you know, late 70s, early 80s slashers like Tourist Trap or something.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. It's mean-spirited. I could see someone being like, this is torture porn or whatever, but
it's a really dark film.
Do people even use that term
I don't
anymore?
know, but I don't know why you wouldn't think that, like, if you are a fan of the Terrifier films. Because
sure,
those are,
that's,
like,
I mean,
literally,
that's,
if anything's torture porn, I feel like those movies can be kind of up there.
100%. I mean,
and there's no hate.
There's
no hate, yeah. But, like, this, to me, like, there is definitely great gore in this, no doubt. But I do feel like there's a lot more going on. This would be a really great one for us to watch and review for like a spoiler discussion on Slasher Sunday.
Yeah. The one thing that I know, you know, kind of solidified this for you as one of the like modern great slashers is you had a kind of like a deep conflicting empathy for
Yeah.
our killer.
Yes.
Because they are a very tragic figure, and that's where the body language comes
Yes.
from, right? Like, even though they can't talk, they can physically emote, and they're doing this kind of like almost autistic stimming throughout, which I thought was really interesting. Where they, like, I thought, yeah, they really made themselves feel tragic and like sympathetic, but not in a way where you're like, I still want you to die, but I kind of feel bad for you.
Well, and we get some more backstory stuff throughout
Yeah.
the film, so it's not all dependent on that, but
very little exposition.
Right, but I do think that the killer does end up being, it is conflicting. You do feel bad for them. To an extent. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people
and only
feel
in the
way.
sense of, like, this is like a character, like in a character study. Like, I don't mean to say, yeah, like, you still, you know, don't want them to, like, survive or anything, but I really appreciate when slashers do that, because I think that we get the same kind of thing when it comes to, like, X or Pearl, where you get very, like, three-dimensional killers.
Yeah.
So it's not just like very which is very funny, because, like, you know, we love Halloween, but we've talked about, like, you can only go so far with Michael. I think that you can make arguments for things, definitely, but it's a lot harder when you have such a, like, straight character. Jason is a little bit maybe easier, like, you get the abuse and stuff from his childhood and whatever, but anyway, I do think this one's really cool, and I'm always very excited when we get, like, female horror villains that are, you know, like, just different and interesting, and not necessarily the, like, femme fatale, however you say that. Not that there's anything wrong with that type of character, but this one is really unique, so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm glad you got to say everything you thought.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think that this is absolutely one to look out for. And I don't know much about release dates, obviously, as we've talked about plenty in these reviews, but this might be the only one you're watching. So as far as these film festivals go, you know, a lot of these movies don't have distribution yet. That's what they're looking for. So it could be a little while before this gets released. But I do hope this gets picked up and gets released soon, because there's going to be a lot of very happy slasher fans.
Yes.
That love this one. So, yeah, I was trying to remember.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
We were talking about the, like...
One of the only things I would have liked, even though, like, it's not necessary, and this is just me being the gore hound, I guess, just a few more characters, right? Just
up the body count.
Yeah, just to pad the gore.
I'm fine with how it is. I think the gore is really good, and there's some really gross stuff in this.
Yeah.
Too, aside from gore, so I was fine with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could remember what I was gonna say.
There is kind of an homage to Friday the 13th.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Too.
I was going to say that if I was to liken this character to really any villain, especially like a more popular one, this reminds me of early Leatherface in a lot of ways. Like, you know, the Leatherface that when Drayton Sawyer, the cook, comes home and is like hitting Leatherface and he's screaming.
Definitely.
And then especially in part 2.
Yeah.
When he's much more like...
Leatherface is kind of sympathetic, too.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's a big idiot.
Yeah.
And he's been obviously abused into what he's doing.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's what it slightly reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And a few other choice, like, 80s slasher villains. But of all the big named ones, Leatherface is the most obvious comparison here. especially with like the body type, the way that they move, the way that all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I hope more people just make slashers and film it on film. I know film is expensive, but man, it just looks so good. And if this isn't on film, like we said, and it's a filter, then more people need to use that.
Yeah.
Because it looks amazing. It really does add to the, like, just the experience.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic and everything.
And the
grittiness.
And the mask, the closest thing I could think of is The Hills Run Red, for anyone who knows that one. Other than that, I think that's that for now. And until the next film, we got so many more coming. And we got so many more films coming this month that aren't part of Screenfest. Halloween, October is going to be loaded with reviews. So definitely subscribe. Definitely become a member if you want. Support the channel, Patreon. I never asked for that shit, but
it helps.
If you knew how many movies
helps.
and how much shit we were doing this month, I feel like if you are a fan, you'd be like, we should support them a little more. If I showed you how many movies we're actually covering this month, you wouldn't believe me.
Yeah, and if you can't support financially, no worries at all.
Totally
Just liking and subscribing also helps a lot. So, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, if you don't donate, you're a piece of shit. But other than that,
no.
Just kidding. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.